Hello everybody. Today was my second day of upper body. Happens to be Wednesday. So I actually do a lower upper split. So it's lower body, lower, upper, and then day off. That's just how I situated this mesocycle. Another thing was somebody had asked me about why I did a back exercise first. And I just said that on a Monday that was my primary exercise. So I was just trying to really focus on it and do the best I could on it. Well, doesn't mean my next exercise, which was incline bench, was trying to be less than my best, but I'm going to be a little fatigued from the one before it. So today it's a little bit different because I'm going to start with a flat bench press, a bar instead of a dumbbell, and do a couple things there. Then I go to a back exercise, then a shoulder press or shoulder lateral raise, and you'll see. So a couple things I want to mention though. It's my first week of the new mesocycle, so we want to start out not easy, but a little bit easier and kind of gain momentum as you go from week to week and however long your mesocycle may be. Maybe it's a 3-to-1. A lot of times, hypertrophy phase, I might go like a 4-to-1, which means 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and that 4th week is really hard, which I probably couldn't do again, or maybe can't do again for sure. And then that 5th week is a deload. So last week was a deload, just meaning it's a week that's easier than normal. It might be easier in volume, it might be easier in absolute intensity, just means less weight on the bar. Just whatever I deem appropriate for myself. So sometimes coming back the first week after a deload, it actually feels harder than it should. And you're like, oh my gosh, it was tough. And some of those weights even during a deload feel harder than they should. You're like, I'm doing half the weight and it feels just as difficult. So a lot of that's going to be mental as well, right? So this morning, just to get ready for the workout, right? First thing I'm trying to do is hydrate myself, right? All night, I might get up one time to use the restroom and hydrate and put some more fluids in my body. But right when I get up, I'm drinking a lot of water. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try to eat sometime an hour before my workout, a mixed meal, give me some nutrients, right? Probably about a half hour or so before, I'm going to take some pre-workout, that caffeine, which kind of like, it kind of sets your governor a little higher. So everyone's driven a car, and if you ever tried to speed, which of course I never have, but if you get to a certain speed limit on your odometer, it's going to basically push you back down, right? Maybe that's, we'll just say it's 95, right? You get to 95 and all of a sudden it's like, okay, you can't go past 95. Caffeine, for at least me, kind of helps me get past that 95 marker, okay? So that helps out. On my deload, I don't take pre-workout to try to resensitize myself, key term. Now, next thing I'm gonna do right before the workout, of course, is a warm-up. So it's just as much physical as it is mental. So every day, for the most part, I do the same routine. I might jog up the street and jog back and then do something a little different. I might stretch, I might do whatever, but I gotta base on getting my mindset keyed in for that workout. And then of course I'm gonna exercise, right? So here we go. So on a Wednesday, I'm gonna start with a bench press. I had to make this because I couldn't afford anything else since I already bought a lot of stuff, as you can tell. So I made this just out of 2x4s and 4x4s. It's a little rack. I can squat from up here, and of course I can bench press from this level here. So again, I'm gonna wear these. So you got a left and a right hand. Okay, this little dealie goes around your thumb. And of course I'm gonna pull it tight, wrap it around, try to keep brace my wrists a little bit better than obviously without it. I won't put this on because it'll just take a little extra moment. Now I'm gonna lean back. All right, I'm gonna set my body. I'm gonna get an arch, pushing my chest out, shoulder blades are back and down. My feet are back to kind of help. I can keep my heels down or just my toes, kind of up to you. I'm gonna get an even grip based on the bar, for me about 1 inch wider on the knurl. Right, I'm gonna set my eyes or chin under the bar, set my feet, come up and over my shoulder, then down. Basically say nipple level to upper abs is a good idea. And as I push up, I come up and back over my shoulder. Or push, you can say over your face. Now what I did for fun, right, because I'm at home doing the workout, it's a little bit of a novelty to switch it up. I ended up buying one of these, which is called a slingshot. And right now I'm forgetting the gentleman's name. I know it's Bell, something Bell. But it's called the slingshot. It's pretty cool. So what I would do here is put my hands through it. I'm gonna take this off for a moment. And of course, make sure I get this set up correctly. Bring it up over my biceps, right, my upper arm. There's a little hole here you can also use to try to pull it up and over. Now you gotta get the right diameter, right? And now when I bench press, it's gonna help me at the bottom. All right, it's also gonna help me kind of keep a good elbow placement, okay? So I'm coming up and over, come down, it's stretching, so at the bottom it's gonna help me, right? I can't even get to the bottom with such a light weight, right? And then push up. It's gonna help me at the bottom and of course decrease its tension or help as I push up. Now it's also helping me keep my elbows tucked to my sides, which is gonna hopefully keep more pressure on my chest and of course be easier on my shoulders and elbows. So it's a pretty cool thing. Tried it a few times now and I like it so far. Now we're gonna move over to pull-ups. All right, so now we're back at the pull-up bar. So one thing to make it harder from my last mesocycle, right, is gonna be adding a 5-pound weight to my body. So I just found this little strap, basically, and wrapped it around, right? I was like, just did this a little while ago. Make it nice and tight, and I just kind of hung it behind me somewhere that was, well, somewhat comfortable, right? And what I did, because it's the first week, I just dropped down my repetitions. So instead of going for, say, a 12 to 15 marker, I just went for 8 today. I went for 4 sets of 8, two sets each way, right? So I'm going wide, narrow, wide, narrow. So it looked something kind of like this. I'll get a few in, get a good stretch at the bottom, pause the top. So that was my second exercise, obviously, for my back. All right, now we're gonna move on to the third exercise of the day. So my third exercise of the day was a lateral raise. All right, so my first exercise, I hit a lot of anterior deltoid, right, because it was a push. Second exercise, hit a lot of rear deltoid. And it's not that my lateral deltoid isn't doing work during those exercises, it's just not the primary function of it. So we're gonna hit it up a little bit harder. So what I'm gonna do is a lateral raise. Now, many ways to do a lateral raise, but in this case, I'm just gonna have a slight bend in my elbow, and I'm gonna come up about shoulder height, maybe up to my ears, somewhere in this position, right? Whatever feels comfortable for your shoulder. I like to come up a little bit of the thumbs down, which, if it feels good for your shoulders, okay. As I come here, I'm gonna have a little twist in it. And it just feels a little bit better for me as I come here. All right, I'm just trying to focus on my lateral deltoid. My medial deltoid, another name for it. All right, you can throw a lean in there. There's many things you can do. As long as you're feeling it somewhere in this area, you're probably gonna be good. Your traps may help out. You can always think about pushing your shoulder down at the same time, raising your arm to try to resist using whole lot of traps. But it's not like a bad thing, right? Maybe somebody wants some traps, but usually not the ladies. All right, now we're gonna move on to the fourth exercise. Last one, an ab exercise. So the last exercise for my day 2 upper body is abs. I usually do abs on my upper days. On my lower body days, I usually don't. It's gonna get a whole lot of work if you're doing squats and lunges and everything like that, stabilizing. So here on a bosu, I have mainly 4 versions that I like to do. We'll talk about the first one, which I call just regular. All right, so I'm gonna be getting my hips really close to the floor. When I'm resting, I'm actually arching over the ball, right? So I'm basically like stretching out my rectus abdominis here. There's 4 main abdominal muscles. So what I'm gonna try and do, right, is bring my hips up, and at the same time my shoulders come up, right? Like so, like a little canoe if you're doing like a plank type of position, right? So I really wanna think of this moving first, and then this will come up automatically, right? Because if I don't, I might just do something like this. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to flex my spine, extend it, flex it, extend it, right? Now, sometimes people's necks get tired. You can always put your hands here. That's also changing your lever arm, so you're getting more weight away from your abs at a farther distance, so it's usually a little bit more difficult. I usually like doing one hand here and one hand on my abs, so I can kind of feel what's going on under there if I'm not too fat at that time, all right? So that's kind of what I get done on the second day of upper body. So good luck, give it a try.